My name is Sheila Wilson. I'm president of Stop Healthcare Violence.
Hey,
And your name is?
Beckett Augat.
Beckett Augat. I want you to know that we are going to be on Boston Making a Difference with Mike Cornell,
Yep.
and he does videos. And you're also going to be on not Stop Healthcare Violence. You're going to be on Passionate World Talk Radio. And so this whole story will be videotaped and audioed. Okay? So
Thank you.
tell me, why are you striking?
We're striking for safe patient staffing. We've had a problem with staffing in this hospital for a very long time. We've filed over 600 unsafe staffing forms, and it's gone unnoticed and unresponded to by Tenet Healthcare.
Wow. And why is that? You think they're just not paying attention, or they don't understand what it's like to be a nurse?
I think that they don't understand what it's like, but I also think that a lot of the people who are in the higher positions have never worked in the healthcare field, and they put profit over patients.
Oh, I see. The bottom line is the money.
Yep. They think that nurses can be fit into any spot and do any job in the hospital, and they think that patients are just a cog to be moved along on the factory line of healthcare. And it's not. We're dealing with humans, we're dealing with people, we're dealing with patients, we're dealing with moms and dads and brothers and sisters and husbands and wives and children, our children. And you can't just treat one like the other, and you can't expect one nurse to take care of 5 patients or 6 patients. And even in the ER, we've had up to 7 and more patients in the emergency room.
That's too high. That's too much to handle. Not only is it unsafe for your patient, you could lose your license
Absolutely.
at any given moment. And
Absolutely.
we spend too much time and money to get our license.
And to keep our license up to date, and to
Right.
keep ourselves educated as to the latest, because medicine is a practice. I always joke around, we practice medicine because it's always evolving. We're always learning something new. There's always a new medication. There's always a new diagnosis. We're still finding things out. And
that's the beauty of healthcare.
that is the beauty of healthcare, is that our minds are always stimulated, but at the same time, we have to have the people at the bedside who have those skills, who have that knowledge to take care of your family, to take care of our family, to take care of our community. And this is our community. This is a community hospital.
And this is a community hospital means a lot. I worked in a community hospital, and we were there for them.
Yeah.
But not only in the hospital, and I don't know if this happens to you, you'd be walking down the street, and the patient that you had 3 days before will come up and say, "You took such good care of me."
I got stalked in Walmart. I remember being really uncomfortable that this couple were stalking me. And I kind of noticed them, and I saw them following me aisle to aisle and then kind of looking at me weird. And eventually the wife came up and she's like, "You were my nurse." And she's like, "And I just want to let you know, and it was good news. I don't want to give out her story, but it was a sad circumstance that she ended up being with me that night in the emergency room. And I sat and I got teary-eyed because unfortunately I've gone through that experience. And now she was having a positive outcome, and she was so excited to see the nurse that had sat with her during that to be able to tell her the positive news. So I got hugged by a husband and wife in Walmart because I'd been their nurse in the ER. It's those moments, yeah.
Anything else, and that's what we do.
But we need to have that time at the bedside with our patients to be able to take care of them, to be able to connect with them, to be able to have their trust, their respect. I mean, nursing is one of the most respected fields because of our caring nature, our nurturing nature. And if you're trying to force us to take more patients, we don't have that time. And the problem is that minute, that 2 minutes that you could use for that extra period is when you can catch something that could keep somebody from dying too. It's those little changes that the nurses at the bedside notice that stop things from just going down the hill, down the drain and getting worse. And we can notify the physicians, get people in there to help so that patient doesn't die.
Right. I'll tell you one quick story. Is I had this woman that came in, and she was telling me she had this, she had that. And so as a nurse, as you know, and you're listening intently, and you're watching the facial expressions, you're watching how she's moving her arms and her legs and everything else. 3 times I went into her, and she would almost change just one or two words. And so I finally went back. You know, I did everything what I
Yeah.
was supposed to do, the blood, do the EKG, still
Get your
talking
IV.
to her.
Yeah.
And so I finally said to her, uh, is this really why you're here? And she said, no. My son was murdered last night. And it took probably 7 minutes for her to trust me to tell me what was going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know what she was so afraid of, but that's what happens.
Yeah. But all it is that it's that time to spend with them.
It is. It's. I'm sure you must have 100 stories. It would be good if you would sit down and write them out and publish them.
I probably can't remember half of them at this point in my career.
So, anyhow, this is, as I said, this is Mike Cornell doing all this, and he will be putting it up on Boston Making a Difference.
All
And
right.
you were on Boston Making a Difference before.
I was during the first surge
Yes.
of
so
the pandemic.
That would be good. So it was great talking to you. It was
Awesome.
great knowing what you look like. I thought you had brown shot here. So,
Because it's usually pulled back so it's not in my face.
oh, well, that's great. Anybody else that needs to be done?
I know that we had one more coming, but I haven't seen her yet. She knows to meet me down here.
Okay.
But I can find.
What can the people do to support you? What can people watching
Oh,
do to
there's
support
so
you?
much. So to support us, you can come by, you can honk, you can come stand with us on the sidewalk. You can call and write the CEO of Tenet Healthcare, which is Carolyn Jackson. You can write into your local newspapers supporting us, letters to the editor. And, you know, we're accepting donations. We have a strike fund. We have a diaper fund. We have a lot of moms, and we have a lot of, you know, single moms and moms that are out here putting everything on the line for patient safety so that we can continue to support our kids. Because, you know, if patients aren't safe, that puts our licenses on the line. And we've worked very hard for those.
Yes,
So,
we have.
so we have, you know, we have the strike fund also, and we have different funds set up at the office, and you can always call the M&A office.
Well, that would be good.
Excellent.